everybody, here's Lu Dan from Viva International. Viva is a vocational education and training organization in Baden-Württemberg in southwest Germany. And welcome to our today's seminar. So today we continue the seminar, the implementation of dual education and training. So today's topic is that we are going to talk about the roles and responsibilities in dual education and training, and also how to write a partnership agreement. Thank you again to the German Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, and also SIQA for making this seminar possible. We are appreciating the support from them. Now let's go and talk about roles and responsibilities in DVET, how to formulate a training cooperation agreements. So if you want to implement dual education in your region, we are absolutely convinced that you may need a document like this. So if you are a school director or university director, most likely I recommend you to feel responsible for the overall steering and to do at least a weekly follow-up on the advances of the implementation. The success of your team in this challenge and in this very important topic for the young people strongly depends on you. Your operational, your implementing staff will have a lot of administrative topics to resolve because this is new for your organization and also new for the companies and possibly the government authorities in your region. They need your full and fast support if they confront a new situation on an administrative level which has to be solved. Most likely in most countries, there are some financial aspects to see and to have successful dual training system in your school and your people for this. Having this on the same side, they count on you. We will catch this later again in Model 9 and Model 10. Total education is not only for your institute and also for the companies as well. And I'm absolutely convinced that you will have more companies join your new system if you contact them personally from director to CEO on the same level. Don't underestimate your importance. We have also another recommendation to you as a director. Don't overload your teachers with the implementation of dual system. We recommend you put the responsibility on a full-time coordinator. You will have more success if you do it this way. And if you have to rely on your teacher because you don't pay a full-time coordinator, then we recommend you that the teachers that are responsible during the implementation should be released from some classes. It's really a lot of time-consuming work. So if you are a school teacher, what is my recommendation? What should you consider as your task? Teach your subjects and influence your young people with the same passion as usual, and take care for the equipment you use with the same dedication as usual. Don't underestimate your role as a model for your young people. So it's not only about technical education. Education means that we form together. A complete person is not only a technical major person, but also an emotionally person. Our recommendation for you as a teacher is that you should try to use dual training also as an instrument to receive further training. Because you will have the opportunity to access companies who have the latest technology and the latest state-of-the-art procedures of your region, which are the future employers of the young people you take care of. And we believe that it's not only that you can teach them and the companies, they are normally not specialists in pedagogical aspects, but you can learn from them too. And I recommend you to seize the opportunity and try to have a good network with the incoming trainers. Don't consider them as competitors who may say, oh, no, we are doing it in a different way. They are teaching at school. They can help you because sometimes if you have a problem with a student and you want to influence him for good, in many cases, you will need also the help from the incoming trainer, and you will find an incoming trainer also an ally who helps you, or who at least try to help to influence your young people in a good way and to become responsible adults. What should we expect from our young people, from our young apprentices, from our young students? They are new now. So this is in many languages we are talking about dual formation. We are still forming them. We're talking about the young people, they are not formed. So we shouldn't expect them to be perfect. We should expect dedication from them, both in school and also in the company as well. We should expect from them that they want freely from their heart to apply what they learned at school in the company. And we should expect them that when they come back from the company at school, they come with new questions, with new willingness to learn more and to respect the teachers and people who really can teach them some things. And they will find it helpful in the company, but maybe they will not be able to learn it there. I have a technical task for the young students as well, which they may find strange. They should fill out their in-company logbook on a daily level. And I tell you in advance that many students or apprentices will consider this strange. But as we all know, in most jobs today, we have to document. In 21st century, it doesn't matter what you are doing, there is always some documentation. If we make them used to document on a daily basis what they learn, what they do, we will make this habit stronger in them. And also, we have some new actors that we only have in dual education and training. For example, the in-company trainer here. But about in-company trainer, I will tell in brief because later on we will have an entire module talking about the in-company trainer. So for a brief overview, we should expect from the in-company trainer that he instructs our young apprentice according to the logbook. And another aspect I would love to highlight here is that the in-company trainer himself or herself as a team player together with the coordinator and also the school teachers in vocational education and training. And this is very important. We have also another new actor, the coordinator. About coordinator, we also have later on a module talking about the tasks of the coordinator and also the responsibilities. So two briefly big tasks. One big task of the coordinator is to make sure that we have enough companies and also we have enough cooperator on board. So he has to acquire them to use this term. And the second aspect is that to make sure when the training is happening in the companies during the in-company phases, he or she has to give periodical follow-up visit to the in-company trainer and also the apprentice. So there are visits on site to make sure that the dual training has the quality and everybody, every stakeholder expects he or him has to have a very good network with the in-company trainer, teachers at school, and also most likely in many countries also the parents of the apprentice as well. There is also another aspect, the social care of our apprentice. Make sure that they are successful in the companies and do not, in the worst case, drop out. So to make it maybe in a way simpler, the coordinator are responsible to make sure that the whole dual process doesn't fail. And this is why I strongly believe that this is a full-time job. You will need most likely one coordinator with 40 apprentices you have. And this is the ratio that from our experience that it is safe. Here, there is also a new character, a new actor in dual training, which is the upper management, most likely the CEO of the company in your country. And this may sound strange for you because in Germany, the decision about joining the vocational education and training in a career is not a decision of the CEO takes. But most likely you are not in Germany while you're watching this video. And in your country, this is an innovation. And also this is new. And at least in Germany, if a company enters and join the new system, this is a decision. If you want a company to join dual education in your region, in your city, or in your sector, you will need approval of the CEO of the participating companies. So here you have somehow a checklist about what you should write in a partnership agreement you as a school or as a university want to sign with the company. And my advice to you is that even if you are not sure about the details of the training, you just have the wish to implement it, but you don't have to decide everything. Make a draft, because if you visit a company and the company is interested in dual training, so the business owner will ask you for a document like this. I know most likely you're coming from an education institution and you're talking about human beings and not about providing some materials or energies or some service. The people you meet in the company most likely are very used to receive visits from representatives. It is most used way they work with them is that at the end, these people leave them an offer and also the company can decide. I agree, and I want some changes, and I decline. If you want to work good with companies in a good way, and also maybe even if you are different from a commercial provider, and maybe it is good to take this from them and leave them an offer in the form of a project agreement to your future partner, don't make it too difficult for them. Try to accumulate to the way they used to analyze decisions and present him or her something that they can read later. So let's open our module in Word. Most likely you will have success with convincing companies, and after some weeks you will have a lot of memoranda signed. In this space where we wrote XXX, where you put the company name, and also when you read this document, now you will observe that somehow we design it in a way that it helps you to sell, to convince companies to join dual training. You shouldn't only see it as a legal document. So here you see that we propose to put in a very visible way the goals you agreed to achieve together with the company as a school or as a university. Here on the bottom of page 2, we put the contract data in Article 2. You see the purpose and also the scope. And thank you very much to the people from SOS Children's Villages in Rwanda. I think this is written in an excellent way. Congratulations. And I hope you inspired here a lot of the other organizations who work in the same spirit you propose here. So in Article 3, you read about the enrollment of students. Some people argue that it is very difficult to convince companies that this program is not about putting people in work. It's an education program. I have a good argument for company owners who are skeptic to support somebody who isn't working at his place. And possibly I strongly recommended pay them a stipend or another way of remuneration. In many countries, if you hire people, you have some legal and financial responsibilities you do not have with insurance. And for this reason, if you are an employer, and I recommend you consider the advantages that these young people who are starting with you are still ruled by academic criteria. So it has a lot of advantage for you, but I believe if the coordinator that visits you may explain this for your particular context in a better way that I can do. So in Article 4, you read about the responsibility of the parties. If you are watching this video and you are from a company, you will observe that 4A is from a business point of view, a full human resource package the school offers you. And I absolutely convinced that if you are from a company, you will not get in your country this kind of package of the same price from another source than from a school or university. If you are still skeptical about dual training, maybe you should start and try not only with a big number of apprentices, but possibly with 1 or 2. Try, learn, improve, and also enjoy the next year better of the advantages of the schools and with this package offer you. On 4B, you read as a business owner about the responsibilities you and your company have. 4B is something that you have to do anyway. Somebody starts in your company and you have to provide him or her the equipment. This is very understanding. It means everybody who starts assume needs a supervisor. Obviously, in dual training, we shouldn't call him or her supervisor. We call him or her in-company trainer. But this is something you need in any case, so it is not really a new expense or new task that arises. The only difference is that your supervisor here is quite in-company trainer and gets some support from an external source with pedagogical experience. It means that you will receive somebody who visits you to get you support because he or she comes from a partner that wants this program to be a success. I don't know if you call it responsibility, but in the end, this is an offer and somebody that, if it's used in the smart way, really helps you and makes your life in the company easier. Normally, if you as a business owner hire external consultants, you have to pay a lot of money for them, and in this case, it's included in this package. Okay, so let's talk about 4E, which is about final project. The company should facilitate the apprentice to do a project that in perfect circumstances should be proposed, planned, and implemented by the apprentice and should be of tangible benefit for the company. In Article 5, you should see a list of advantages of the dual training for the stakeholder. This may look strange for you that we list in a memorandum of understanding of advantages, but as I told you some minutes ago, I have a lot of success with using this document to promote dual training. And if you want to promote it, sometimes it's helpful that when you show it to the business owner, you don't start necessarily at the beginning, that you open it and pick Article 5 to start the explanation. Article 6. From our experience, it's quite useful to convince companies as well, because what you see there is a list of competences. And if you ask somebody from the sector, do you need somebody with this profile at the beginning of the conversation? They usually say yes, of course. I think in the case of Article 7 about the distribution of time, this is quite clear why you need this, because otherwise at the end of the meeting, your counterpart will not know what exactly he has to expect from us and offer. When will the young people be with him? Can he maybe alternate two partners, having 1 month, one another month, or the other? If you don't get this clear, the industry will never sign with you. I think the reason why we put Article 8 here is quite clear. It's about the starting period. So if the company calls our young people to do, let's say, maintenance or help in a special situation in the company, and the apprentice with students mixes classes, he or she will never get the degree. And then maybe you will have a company short-term happy, but long-term unhappy, because then the apprentice most likely, or many of the apprentices, depending on the situation, will drop out. The training must be a triple win situation. The school must win, the apprentice must win, the company must win. And if some of the actors loses and dual system stops and the other both parties loses as well. Article 9 is about the responsibility of the in-company trainer. Looks like a list of big responsibility, but let's be fair. In the end, this is mostly what about a supervisor does in the company anyway, so it's not so new. The only difference is that he needs to coordinate with the person from the school or from the person from the chamber, in some cases, in some countries, or from associations as Beaver in the case of Baden-Württemberg here where we live. If you receive support, this only functions if you need some with the person that supports you. Article 10. This is important to make your life easier. Don't sign this agreement only for 1 year. Most likely the companies wants to repeat. If you have an end of duration date, perhaps in the next year, everybody has to sign a big memorandum and send it again to a company, review it in the end, not necessary, and you waste your time. Your coordinator wastes time, the company wastes time. Article 11 about financial aspects. If you are a business owner, you are considering about taking apprentice within the dual training, we strongly recommend you pay them somehow or contribute somehow. You should contribute somehow with studying costs of the young people you want to have in your company. In many countries, dual training has been implemented without the companies paying a contribution. In these cases, where the companies are paying, the quality of what the companies receive is really higher. If you don't contribute somehow in a financial way, most likely the apprentice will not take the commitment he or she should have with you as serious, as if there is some money flowing. A business owner explained to us in Salvador, in Central America. He said to me, if it's for free, people think it's a game. So this is not a game. This is quality, and it's about delivering projects within your company. This is about your return on investment. For this reason, you shouldn't make other people believe that this is a game. What you as a school director or as a government officer or as an industry representative or should think about the way remuneration of financial contribution should function. This is what you see in Article 11. It's very important for the partner to outline that this program is not about work, but it's about vocational training, vocational education. And to make this clearer, the companies would not put apprentice on the payroll, but contribute for their education via its stipend. This has had a logical reason. And I think this is in line with the spirit dual training should have. And in some cases, in some countries, one aspect is that depends for the companies, deductible might be a financial reason to consider this aspect. By the way, there is another reason how to explain why it's good if you, as a business owner, pay a contribution. If your apprentice has some issues with the motivation and discipline, you can make it very clear to him or her that you are somehow paying some costs for him or her. And believe me, in many cases, these young people fear to lose the support. If you point that out, you get a reaction. And if in some cases the young person is not reacting when you are explaining that you expect some motivation, if you are contributing to his or her study courses, it's smart. If you try to contact or if you talk with the school and the school talks with the parents, well, I think you can imagine. Usually parents do not want their kids to lose their defense. In Article 12, you see that the annual basis about the decision of the number of apprentices in here. Again, this is because, believe me, you don't want to sign each year again and again in the same agreement because you have to read it before signing. Article 13 is, I imagine, self-understanding as well. Even though the dual training should be an education scope, it makes sense that it's not an infraction to the labor law in your country. Article 14 is about no exclusivity. I think we all agree that why this is a good idea. Education and employment should not be for an exclusive group in Germany as well or in Switzerland. Dual training is not an elite program. We believe that education and employment should be for everybody. And for this reason, it's good if a company cooperates with several schools and a school cooperates with a lot of companies. Article 15 is about documents the company should sign with the apprentice as well. In many countries with the parents too, especially, of course, if the apprentice is underage. I think the reason is quite clear. It's about the mutual commitment we want to establish in the end. You all know our idea as educator is not to have the students only for us. And our vision is not only to bring them to graduation, but to further employment. We want to achieve this. It's good to start the relationship between, at least in dual training, good to start the relationship between the companies and as early as possible. And this leads me to article number 16 about the establishment of a labor relationship. We write here that the apprentice and companies are free to establish labor relationship after graduation. But let's be honest, in the end, this is what we dream of now as people from the employment sector. Article 17 is about the duration and the effective date. I think this is quite clear. I don't think there is a lot to explain about. And Article 18 is about unforeseen situation, where I think you know this from other situations in life as well. You cannot foresee and you cannot plan everything. It's a crisis. The best way normally is to sit down together and figure out how we fix this. Again, we want a triple win situation. The winners know the companies, the apprentice, and the school. And if somebody is struggling, it's good that the other actors figure out what they can do to get things back on the track. And because if one of these actors leaves, this cooperation has no future. And at the end, this is what we need. If we want to cooperate as schools with companies in the framework of dual training, the signature. So again, it makes sense that you have drafted at least of a memorandum. If you visit companies, must not be complete. You don't need to establish everything in detail, but if you are not really clear what dual training may look like, it's very difficult to convince companies. They will tell you most likely, well, sounds great, but come back when you know what you want, and then we can discuss. Company owners are very used to see technical descriptions for this reason. If you want to sell a computer to a company, you normally come with an example of a computer that looks this way and has this and these features. Even if this is not about machines and about human beings, I think this should be clear as explained. If we approach the companies in this way, they are good to analyze. It's simply more convenient for them. And if we have educators, want to have them on board, somehow we have to accept this reality. Okay, I hope this video gave you some ideas about practical approaches, what you can do to bring dual training to life in your city, in your industry sector, and give some young people a good start and a good transition from school to work. Free to contact us here, and you can see our website. We have information in different languages. I hope we can answer your questions if you come to us. And otherwise, go after your own memorandum of IG understanding and have success. Wish you good luck, and bye.